Hey you guys, Dev Horn here at WeBuyHouses.com. Welcome to Cash Offer Masterclass episode 13, where we are learning how to value real estate, how to make a cash offer that is correct, optimal for a property so that we have the money to fix it up and we can get it back to retail value and we can make money at the end of the day. That's what we're trying to figure out. What's the right cash offer to pay for real estate? So let's look at this one today, also from Fazio. It's in Garland, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, and let's just jump into it. Excuse me. So as we scroll down, we'll see we're at 1309 Linden Lane, Garland, Texas. This is a deal offered by Fazio. If you're a serious cash buyer, a qualified cash buyer, looking for real estate in North Texas, reach out to Fazio, Jade Vaughn at 214-646-9646. I always call them out. I have no relationship with them. I just use their content for these videos, and I think I owe them something back in using their content because their content is excellent. I do love what Fazio does. If you're a wholesaler or thinking about being a wholesaler, look at how they present their properties with, this nice email, hero image, link to pictures, a bunch of information, very valuable information that I use from Fazio in making my assumptions. And so I just think they do a great job. So if you're a wholesaler, this is what cash buyers are looking for, is this level of information and the quality of your presentation. So if these guys do it well. Try to follow what they do if you're new to the wholesaling game. So let's jump into it. I've already filled out my calculator with the address, square foot, and notice this. They have ARV at $290,000. I go out looking around. Zillow 248, which is $146 a square foot. This house was built in 1961, by the way, the year that yours truly was born. And as we jump over to Realtor, 291.4, and I can tell you that in my property radar tool, we had 291 as well. So we're going to jump back over here. 291 is our ARV, which is $171 a square foot. Interesting to note, our ARV matches the ARV that's provided by the wholesaler. That's very, very cool. Excuse me, I have something in my throat. I have a frog in my throat. That's what we used to say. There's apparently a frog down there. All right, so we're jumping into this one and looking at the pictures. Let's see what we got here. Do they have a movie? Nah, too bad. That's okay. That's all right. We can do without it. There's our front of the house there, this stone, and let's see, roof. Just to remind you guys as we come into this, they're saying no known issues with the big five: roof, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, foundation. Those are the big five things that can really kill your deal. If you miss those things and you get in there and find out it needs full electrical, full HVAC, and you didn't calculate that into your deal, man, that's when pain happens in our business. That's when we get it really wrong. Fazio's telling me this house is in pretty good shape. They're saying blah, 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 functional 3rd bedroom with great bones. Functional 3rd bedroom. It's a 1,700 square foot house. It ought to have it really ought to be a 3.2 at that size. Most of our properties are that size. 61, well, it might be kind of a different, unusual build. Let's jump into it. See what the pictures are showing us. See that? HVAC is not working. They've got a window unit. The window unit condensation went down the house, and they ran this for a long time like that, causing that. It's not necessarily damage. You can probably power wash that off, but it's kind of gross. And if you look at these windows are like from 1949, not 1961. Oh my gosh. Almost looks like a painting, doesn't it? That's kind of weird. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Ooh, And one shutter on one side, nothing on the other. Okay, no big deal. No big deal. That all that little cosmetic stuff, we're not that worried about as investors. You know, you can fix all that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, bro, this thing needs windows. These windows, they almost look blacked out. That's crazy. I definitely think that you got to get. It's just like the door hasn't been painted since 1961. Look at that. We've got some settling. I mean, 60-year-old house. There's been settling, and look at that. We see some repairs here. It doesn't necessarily tell us a lot about the foundation, but it could definitely be that the foundation mover. It could just be that this brick or this stone facade is poorly constructed and just, kind of came apart over the years. But I don't know. As I look at this, I think, oh, look at that. See repairs in here. This house has foundation issues. Yeah, I think it does. Let's get inside and look for cracks when we're in the house. Yeah, this stuff looks okay under the roof line there. Not horrible, but you do see like water's coming here. They have no gutters, and the water's coming here. When it rains, it runs down the wall, and then it's creating this kind of discoloration. Again, you could probably get most of that off with power washing, but the house needs gutters. It's amazing when you look at a house that's built 4 years ago, and nobody ever thought to put gutters on it. It's kind of crazy. Outdoor building, big deal, no big deal. Look at that. That is an ingenious way. You just cut a hole and put that thing in there and get that foam filler out, and you are in business. Somebody might be living out there. He's like using it for a shop. I got a bunch of pallets. They're ready to haul something. Okay, we've got our... When do you see this? You've got the main electrical panel outside, right under the meter, and exposed to the elements. I can't imagine that's good. I just can't imagine. I don't know what to say. I've never seen that. I'll be honest with you. I've never seen that. Just an exposed electrical panel like that. Siding actually looks pretty good. It needs painting. It needs painting inside and out. So, yeah, well, they're saying no known issues. There's definitely a lot of cosmetic. Okay, we get to look at the panel a little closer. Honestly, it doesn't look... Some of these panels, an electrician will look at them and go, oh, you don't want that. That's horrible. You got to replace... I don't look at this and immediately say this is, some horrible setup here, but it's outside, which is unusual. Somebody could walk up to your house and just shut off all your electricity. Oh, brother. Yeah, outdoor buildings of no value. Appraisers give you 0 for them. This thing has window units, so it has no central HVAC unit. Those look like they are newer windows, so maybe there's some areas of the house where they have, at some point in time, swapped out the windows. Not too recently, though. Here's an outside condenser unit. It's old, but it's not 1961. It could be 80s or the 90s, so it's probably older. And with those window units, I'm concerned about this, that it's not functioning. Hey, look at this. What can we see on here? Date of manufacture, 2011. So, yeah, it is. It's 14 years old, but in many cases, a unit like that is certainly repairable if it's, not operating properly. But isn't that nice? God, Fazio, y'all are great. Showing photos like that. I mean, this is what a cash buyer is trying to figure out. What does this thing need? There's the condenser unit there. Tucked there by the back door. Okay, going into the house. Flooring, bad. And walls, trim, nice color choice. There's a bathroom. Boy, these are some crazy colors. Somebody liked it dark. That is a bathroom. They went fancy with a sink there and then ended up sticking a plastic bowl in there. Yeah, full cosmetic. Some really poor paint choices were made over the years here. The kitchen, we're in the kitchen, right? That's your little, bar area, and the sink there, and here's your area where you would usually have your kitchen table. The old 1961 stuff. 1961 windows. They're kind of cool, honestly. There's like old wood frame windows, kind of cool. Maybe you could restore them. I don't know. I would get rid of them. Don't like old windows myself. The flooring, the paint, something weird happened to that door. It's all just typical cosmetic. Yeah, honestly, nothing shocking or alarming that I'm seeing here. Other than, oh my gosh, over the years, the paint choices just, just odd. Got just a vinyl roll flooring product on there. You don't see that anymore. Nobody's cheaping out that cheap anymore. So all flooring, all cosmetics. Kitchen, do we have any appliances? They're old. Very old. There's your pizza pan. Yeah. Do you see a dishwasher? Yeah, it's over there. It's alright. Sink looks okay. Faucet, it's kind of overkill, but that's alright. Yep, typical. See a little bit of separation. Look at these panels. Yeah, look at this. There's been some foundation shifting and separation. Some of these panels popped. You'll see these lines along where the sheetrock is. Sometimes there's just a little bit of movement in there, and you get those little hairline cracks. There's some main living area. This is kind of living room, dining room, maybe. Another shot of it. Nobody's painted that door in 20 or 30 years. It's funny when you're looking at a house, like it's a 61 house. My house was built in the 60s. It don't look like this, It was modernized. So it's just crazy to see the old houses in the 60s that are almost kind of preserved like a time capsule. Can we see anything on this water heater? It does sit, looks like in a pan, which is good. Yep. I don't see anything, wrong with it, but it's hard to tell just by looking at them. But wait. What can we see here? Do y'all see manufacturer year? Anything on there? I don't know. We don't need to spend too much time on it. It is very cool. If you're a wholesaler, take pictures like this that people can look at, especially if they have dates of manufacture and things like that. Look at that water damage up there. So 1-story house. I'm assuming that's coming maybe from the roof and then down and through the attic and staining there. Old windows and trim. Needs a little TLC. This house needs significant TLC. We're over in the other side of that main living area, and that's more than just a little separation. They've had significant water damage here, and that caused this probably to fall in. They've stuck a piece of sheetrock sort of up there in a very haphazard way. Water damage in the roof. That's pretty significant. man, all the trim is just gross and disgusting. All needs to be redone. Look at this. It looks like a house from the 40s or 50s, doesn't it? It's just like so old looking. And that bed, dude, beds don't last forever. Sometimes you got to throw away, get a new one. I'm just saying. Just saying. I think this is the second bathroom, and I'm guessing the second, right? This is very different, right? Got a, just tile tub. Very standard setup. At some point, somebody did this like cool thing with the bathroom sinks, but that was kind of it. That's where they stopped in the renovations. I seriously think this paint might be from 1961. Some of that. Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see. A lot of crap. There's a lot of crap in this house. It's a technical term that we use in real estate. Crap. We see a lot of it, especially in this line of business. Man, this looks like the Munsters lived here. I don't know if y'all watched the Munsters when you were kids, but I think this looks a lot like the Munsters house or the Addams family's house. Kind of scary. Might be some ghosts. Look at that doorbell. It's serious. This is back in the 60s. Like, ring the doorbell. We're going to hear it. Yeah, look, that is really concerning. I'm going to go ahead and say it. This house has some water leaks or something that have occurred that have caused water damage, mold, mildew issues. I think that's just one of those light fixtures with the neon bulbs in it, or that's right, where the fluorescent tubes. Man, I swear this house looks like it was abandoned or something. There is a bird in there. There's a couple of birds in there. These birds are like, get us out of here. Get us out of here. They won't fix the place. They just got birds hanging out in there. Oh my, it just doesn't stop here with the black mold and the disgustingness. I thought when I looked at the email and I got the old no known issues thing, I was thinking we were going to see a house that was almost rent ready. Not. This is not what I got. I'm not seeing a rent ready house. I'm seeing one that needs black mold remediation, which could be very expensive. You can't just go in there and just have you guys just start ripping this stuff out and breathing it in. You can't. You got to send crews in there with like bodysuit, like, hazmat. This house needs a hazmat team. It's 3 to 8. I don't know. I'm just thinking a small one was 3 to 8. I've seen houses consume $20,000 worth of repairs for black mold. And even north of that, Wow. I just continue to think this is the oldest 1961 house I've ever seen. You poor bird. I would just open the door, open the cage, and say, run for your life. Run for your life. You don't want to stay here. You're probably breathing in mold. I'm pretty sure you are breathing in mold, my friends. I don't even know. There's no words for that. Oh, crap. That was the word. Crap is really this stuff, not that, technically. Yeah, there's another word for this. I'll just keep it to myself. It is disgusting, though, right? This is what sometimes we say, when an investor walks in a house and sees stuff like this, they get excited because they know this house won't sell retail. There's nobody, you put this on MLS, nobody's buying this thing. It's a cash buyer house all day long. They need a cash buyer. They need someone like us to come in and take this off their hands and take care of it. I'll tell you the other thing I just noticed about this facade is that it is so much of that stonework. Somebody has come in and put a really horrible looking repaired mortar work on it. It looks horrible. I think I would probably just, as much as I hate to say it, maybe just paint over all that, paint it all white or gray or something, and because you're the variance and kind of the original mortar versus the repair just makes it so obvious that it's been repaired, and it just looks pretty horrible. Again, I'm not picking on it. I like horrible. I love ugly houses, horrible houses, things that need work. That is really mind blowing, isn't it? That it's like they didn't even notice that. Like first year, nah. Second year, fifth year, eighth year, 10, whatever. Nah, we didn't even notice that. Didn't even notice that was happening. Of course, it's very overgrown. It's amazing when you go in and you just have your crew come in and just clean all this stuff up, and all of a sudden you can see the house. Looks so much better. Maybe not this one with that, with all this cracked up, repaired stuff. I think there's several kinds of windows in this house. We saw the original windows on the back. We saw some maybe like 1980s or 90s white vinyl or windows, and then here's like an aluminum window there, and doesn't seem like it fits. Don't we see that a lot, you guys? Windows, they'll put in a window and it's like an inch too short or something, and then they just let the water roll in there. I don't understand that. I think just in our series, how many times have we seen that, right? 2 or 3 times where the spot below the window is just like decayed, and looks like water would just easily go through there. I think this could be a good looking house. It's a very typical, kind of what it was, a 3-2, right? 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 3-1. 3-1. Did we not see 2 baths in there? I thought we did. What does Zillow say it is? 3-1. Realtor says 3-1. It is a 3-1. I stand corrected. I swear didn't we see 2 different views of that bathroom? I could be wrong. I don't know. Go back. All right. Look, it's so overgrown. So overgrown. Get a crew in here. Get all this stuff cleaned up. It's going to look so much better. And so we're at the end. Look. Wow. It needed a lot more work than I thought. So they're saying 290 on the ARV and they want 180. Let's go look at the model. I need to zero out my model. This is still from the last episode. Let's 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so we're agreeing with them on a 290, 291 ARV. We're going to agree with them on that because it was backed up by our sources. We're going to say if there was nothing wrong with the house, 291 times 70% minus 0 repairs is 204. They're at 180. So that's giving us $20,000 for repairs, and we're going to find that it's a lot more than that. This house was a full cosmetic and needs a lot of repairs. Definitely needs all that. Plumbing, HVAC, roof. There's something going on there. A lot of damage. Like if it was a full roof, I think I would completely agree with the model. Well, probably 9 or so, maybe like 0.8. You can kind of play around with this a little bit. Once you start flipping houses and you're actually hiring people and finding out what it really costs, you'll get to where you kind of know I want about 9,000 allocated for that. And I'm assuming that it needs significant roof work because of all that water damage and damage that we saw in the ceilings and the mold. Oh my gosh, so much remediation for the mold. In fact, in general repairs, I might even go to 1.5. Like I'm at 10,000. That gives me 5,000 for mold remediation, which I think is about right. So sometimes you can even just with the model say, I need more than one of those. I need like 1.5 of those general repairs. And remember, if you look at the model, this is what I call the big 5: electrical, plumbing, HVAC, foundation, and roof. And even these guys know that. They'll kind of spell out the big 5 for us and kind of help us to evaluate them. And then other than that, we're looking at kind of the general issues of cosmetics, paint, flooring, all that kind of stuff. And we're looking at general repairs. They're just all the things that you need to fix as you do renovation. You find so many things that need to be fixed. And I think we're definitely going to have to throw in some money for mold remediation. And I'm going to stop right there. I think I beat this house up too much. Maybe does it need that? Yeah, I think it does. I really think and it needs windows. So I've got what, 32,000 for the yeah. You could probably do windows on a house for about $3,000 to $5,000. Yeah, wow. I mean, even at that, you think 32,000 is a lot of money on a 1,700 square foot house, but man, when it's that old, needs that much work, and then we've got something going on with the roof, so we're throwing in about 10 for that. Yeah, and then HVAC, they had window units. This is where this house could really start to get, challenging. Like if you really wanted to fix the HVAC, I bet you need to go in there and drop 10 grand. I bet you do. Now, we could back that off and say, it needs, they didn't show us an inside stack, with the air handler, furnace, evaporator coil. We didn't see that stack on the inside. I'm very concerned about HVAC. We saw those window units and all the damage that the window units caused to the house. So you know what? Let me go 0.7. If you were going to put an HVAC in there, I think you'd be looking at 7. I think you'd be looking at 9 to 10 for a roof. I think you'd be looking at 32 just on cosmetics. Yep. I like that. I'm going to stop there. I've been going on for a while here. This house had a lot more going on in it than I expected. I thought we were going to get in this thing. When I saw the email just said no known issues, I thought, all right, cool. And, rent ready. Let's get it and just put a renter in there and cash flow this thing. Rent it for $17.95 a month, and we're at the 1% rule. Nah, we're not going to be there because this house needs a lot of work. I'm at $49,000 on repairs. So let's just recap by looking at our cash offer calculation. $291,000 is our ARV. We agreed with the wholesaler. 70% is our discount factor minus repairs of $49,000. We're at a cash offer of $155,075. They're looking for $179,500. We're about $24,000 off. And that's where we're at. It's not like their deal is a horrible deal. It's significantly discounted off what we believe is a true 290 ARV. But this house needs so much work. And with all that, what appeared to be black mold, the evidence that there is no central HVAC, the evidence of water damage, you just have to really be careful with a house like this. This house has a million little gremlins hiding in it. I'm telling you, because nobody has taken care of this thing. It needs some love, guys. And I would give it some love at about $155,000. So we're kind of off the mark there, but they probably didn't get it for $155. Maybe they had to pay $160 or $165 or something like that. And the wholesaler's got to make some money. They mark it up to sell it, and that's how they make money. They went out and they went out hunting. They got this deal. They brought it back, and like I always say, all we have to do now is cook it. So there is some value to that. I don't know if it's $24,000 in value, but there's some value to that. I would pay $155 for the house. I hope you guys have enjoyed episode 13. Episode 13, I'm almost skip 13 because I thought 13 might be an unlucky number. And then I thought, no, I'm going to lean into it. I like 13. And this house was kind of a haunted house. So maybe it was a great candidate for episode 13. Thank you, Fazio, for the house to look at. Guys, go to cashoffermasterclass.com. Click on Get the Calculator. Join my community, and let's do some deals together, okay? Hey, it was great to spend some time with you. Look forward to catching up with you tomorrow. Take care.